Everybody. We appreciate you taking some time out of your day today to go through the Waypoint Global Corrective Action module. So this kind of came about as a result of our version 399 webinar that we did a couple of weeks ago. And in that release, if you haven't upgraded, you're going to want to. Not only did we rewrite all of our reports and add new reports, we kind of separated them out into a separate module that is part of your technical support agreement. So you don't have to purchase those. That is part of the upgrade and one of the benefits of having an annual technical support agreement with us. But also we made a lot of how did Dwight refer to it? Quality of life enhancements to corrective action. And so we went through just real quick the highlights of what we changed in corrective action. But from that webinar, it was determined by many of the people that attended that it would be helpful to them if we did a webinar that was solely about corrective action. And so for those of you, all companies at some point, just as the kind of email flyer said, you know, at some point, every company, no matter how big or small, successful or struggling, every company has to deal with a nonconformance at some point. And sometimes that's just a few, and you might be able to do it in a spreadsheet and email and no problem. But then your company may grow, or maybe there's just customers, and all of a sudden there's just so much more to that process than what there used to be, and it gets a little bit hard to manage, report on, be able to provide documentation to your customers, be able to provide documentation to your management. And so that's where our corrective action module comes in, hopefully to come alongside you and assist you with that process and just kind of keep everything in one location, everybody knows what's going on, and be able to report on it also. So what we'd like to do today is, as a result of all of that, take you through a day in the life of a nonconformance. It probably will not be as exciting as like Days of Our Lives soap opera or anything like that, but that's what I thought of when I named it. I thought that sounds like a soap opera. But anyways, I thought it would just kind of be helpful to show how, if you have a nonconformance, what happens in our system if you were to use this. And a lot of folks on the webinar today, you already have corrective action. It may be that you use it here and there, maybe you stopped using it, maybe you're new to the company and know it's there but have never looked at it. And some of the rest of you might be looking for a corrective preventative action solution, and we're happy you're all here. So we're going to try and hit all the points. If you've ever been in any of our webinars, we're going to conduct it the same way that we typically do. When you logged in, hopefully you saw the control panels, if you will, and there's a place for questions that should be on the right-hand side that you can type in questions that they will go to me. And if I can answer it right off the bat, or it's something kind of off to the side, not necessarily on the topic, I'll try and get the answer to you right away. But typically what I'll do is I'll hold them and we will ask them so the whole group can hear them. So we're going to go through a nonconformance wizard and probably have a stopping point, unlike we have in the past, and ask questions at that point. And then we'll go through the rest of the module and then ask whatever we can at the end. So we always like to keep you within the time frame that we've allotted. So one, the webinar is being recorded and everybody will get a copy of it. If you have to jump off or get interrupted, don't worry, you'll get a copy of the recording emailed to you when it's available, which should be either yet this afternoon or more than likely tomorrow. It has to go through a processing type of thing. And then we will also, any questions that have been asked will be typed out, question, and then answered, so that even if we don't ask the question on the webinar, it'll definitely get answered in that document that comes along with the webinar. So hopefully that process has worked for everybody if you've been on a webinar in the past. If not, or you have some suggestions on what we can do to make it better, oh my gosh, please know, please email me, let me know. Hopefully most of you know that a lot of the things that we do in the software and things like that are direct result of you all giving us suggestions or saying, oh my gosh, my life is horrible here. Can you help me? And so please let us know at any point, software, how we communicate with you, whatever the case may be, how we can continue our continuous improvement internally here at Waypoint. So again, like in the past, I'm going to turn this over to Brad and Megan. They are both going to take us through the software or through the corrective action. And like I said, we'll have a stopping point midway. So if you have any questions, just type them as they come up because we'll get to them and we'll go from there. So Brad and Megan, the floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Carrie.
Thank you very much. Warm introduction as always. So I believe a lot of you were here last time for our V399 webinar, but today we were just talking about corrective action, starting from the beginning of the nonconformance wizard and creating one step by step, and then we will move through each of the tabs in the nonconformance workspace, talking about all of the new changes that you'll see along the way and every new system preference, new binders, and maybe some of the reports at the end. So as you see here, we are on the desktop screen in our pretty new alphabetical order, which I love dearly. We will go and create a nonconformance. We will be making an internal one today. The first big change is the fact that you can add a facility to your nonconformance. I will be selecting the Miami facility because that is where I would like to be right now, and move on to the next screen. And this is a nonconformance and not an opportunity for improvement. On to the next screen. Note that labels and descriptions are now required before you can move on any farther in making a nonconformance. The next button will actually be grayed out until you have something typed in both of the text fields. So ours will be wire harnesses incorrectly wrapped. Description, quality, fairly lengthy description.
Remember, when you're entering a description, you want to enter it with as much information as you can, almost as if it were like an audit finding. Because you may or may not be involved in actually being part of the problem-solving team, so the more information you can convey to those that are going to be working on it, the better.
Thank you. Note how now the next button is actually enabled. Well, the cause is a process cause found by Inspector 12. The location was line 2. Oh, 2. For traceability, you are now able to add in multiple traceabilities, and you can put in more than 25 characters. Woohoo! Welcome to the 21st century. You will separate them with semicolons for each of your entries. Stop that one there. The last one doesn't need to have a semicolon on it. For the department, I will select one from the department pool and call upon the manufacturing production department. And the part number, there it is, all the way down there. onto the next screen. Looking over my changes, I don't believe I have anything to change, so I'll just go to the next screen. This screen is a very big change, new addition to Corrective Action. We have a new user group in desktop called the Corrective Action team, which gives you the ability to bypass the gatekeeper. So you will be able to send it to the gatekeeper or to disposition for the final approval for the authority, or you can send it as a corrective action to the owner and final approval authority, assign a due date.
Hey, Megan.
Yes?
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. There's just been a little bit of scratchiness, and it kind of sounds like maybe you lean away a little bit, so I just thought I'd let you know, just with the audio, I want to make sure that everybody can hear you okay. So, and Brad, your audio was a little bit broken up when you had talked earlier, so I don't know if maybe getting closer to your headset microphone, I just thought I'd let you know. So, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it's okay. I think it's the fan in the background. Our office is a little warm.
Oh, okay. All right.
If the user creating a nonconformance is not part of the Corrective Action Team user group, the screen will not show up for them. And it will be the original send nonconformance to gatekeeper screen that you are used to in previous versions of Corrective Action. For this nonconformance, we are sending it as a corrective action to the QA manager, which I am logged in as, purely for the sake of presentation, so we don't have to switch hats between people. So I am the owner and the final approval authority, and I will make the due date a week from today. Comment, Bob, we have already heard from Remco on a similar issue like this one before. We should nip this one in the bud. I'll spell check just to make sure I'm okay. And doesn't recognize the company, not surprised. Okay, and we are ready to register. I believe this is the part for the first wave of questions, Carrie.
Yes, so does anybody have any questions about the nonconformance wizard? So basically there was pieces of information, as you saw, that Megan, she had to fill in. But a lot of it, if you notice, she's pulling from pools of information. So for those of you who have been with us for a long time, you know the beauty of the pool information, that you can grab it and go, and it might take a little bit of time to get those pools filled with information, but typically once they are, things like the wizard can move pretty quickly. We're stopping here only because if there's any questions about it, we'd have to go back and start a whole new one, and so this way we can go back if we had to. But it looks like we're good at this point, so Megan, I'm going to go ahead and say it's okay for us to move on.
Most excellent.
Oh, hold on. Oh, nice save. Okay, is the part number an enterable field or only can be from a part number pool? This company has just a ton of part numbers, so for a pool of information is probably a little bit, maybe the pool might be too big actually. So, but is it something that you can just enter in, or does it have to be part of the pool?
I'll take that question, Carrie, and the part number can be entered on the fly, but it does have to go into the part number pool. You don't have to populate the pool with all of your numbers in advance. You can populate it at the time you're generating the nonconformance. But it does need to be in the pool. So it's not like it's not a free-form text field. It does require it to come from the pool. because it does
But
create
you can
index
add it to
based
the
upon that.
pool. When
Right,
you
you can
add
add
it,
it to
you're
the pool.
actually putting it into the pool. So you don't have to dump 5,000 part numbers into the pool first before you use corrective action.
Correct.
There we go. And that is typically the way most of our pools work, correct? That you can add information on the fly?
That's correct.
All righty. Hopefully that, if that question did not get answered to your satisfaction, let me know, but I'm going to go ahead and let Megan keep going. Or maybe Brad, whoever switches off. But anyway, so thanks, guys.
You're quite welcome. I'm going to keep continuing for now. We're only going to do one nonconformance for this part, so I will click Finish, and it will exit, and I will open corrective action in order to view the nonconformance we've just made. It's this one. Hey, look, here we are on the original NC tab. We are still able to edit the label and the description, which is nice in case you messed up during the creation of the nonconformance. And we're able to reselect the department, the facility, and the part number in case there was a mishap there as well. Note down here if we are able to decide whether or not we would like this specific nonconformance to be printable. There is also an option whether you want all of the nonconformances to be printable or not, but we will discuss that later. Below that is are the new options to publish the recommended actions and or the signature area for the standard format. This shows whether or not it is currently a default in the corrective action system preferences, and you can decide whether you want it to apply to that nonconformance or not. For the Other Documents tab, we have the ability to both add in evidence, which is a snapshot of a document stuck in time forever. It won't change no matter what. It's like adding a picture. You can't change a picture once you've taken it. You can also add in a related document, which can fluctuate as it goes through the system. We will be adding a related document by registering. I'm going to go find it first. There it is.
At this point, we're just putting in the document title, a number if any, a description that would include more information than just what the title might infer. If there's any revision history to it, a revision label, and we'll need to know that this is an image.
Brad, I'm so sorry. We are getting a lot of feedback when you talk. I'm not exactly sure where it's coming from or how, but I just thought I would let you know.
Okay.
I will add the wiring harness picture in now. If I view it, oh, I must have missed a button. Oh. I'm sorry, one moment. That's what happens when you miss one button click. Let's try it again. Thinking.
Yeah, this document is using
Yay.
the new Office Viewer.
Here we are. All right, on to the Work Phase tab. It now displays the gatekeeper, the owner, and the final approval authority, as well as the current responsible person in charge of that phase. Based on this little rectangle right here will show who the current person is. If they have more than one role, they should be able to have more than one rectangle. And when this becomes a corrective action, which this is a corrective action right now, you will be able to delegate to any phase or any work phase to anybody else in the team that would be able to help with the work in case you go on vacation or are out for a long extended period of time and you don't want this nonconformance corrective action to halt. You can give it to someone else so that work can continue. For the containment tab, the team tab, the root cause tab, and the recommended actions tab, all of the window sizes now have dynamic resizing so that they fit your monitor screen. Back in the day, they didn't always use all of the room up on the screen, and now they fit all the way and have lots of room for you to view what you need. We will add 3 containment actions. We are doing this so we identify what's been done to stop the non-conforming product from getting out the door. Last but not least, for the team tab, I'm the only person in the team right now, but now we indicate who is the corrective action owner as well as the final approval authority with the asterisk and the exclamation point, and I'm lucky enough that I got both of them. I'm going to add 3 people, so I'm not alone anymore. I'm holding down the control key in order to multi-select at the same time. So multi-select is supported in this. Okay, now I got a little team behind me. For the root cause, I'm going to ask the 5 whys, literally. So I can ask why as many times as I need in order to uncover the real issue. For the recommended actions, I will add review the documented instruction with the assemblers. The person responsible is Brad Anderson.
Thank you.
Wrong button. And 1 week from today. For the actions taken, I have nothing to add because we can't put anything in that hasn't happened yet. And now I'm going to hand this over to my teammate here, Brad.
Hopefully we've avoided any of the feedback that you were hearing earlier.
It does seem to be better. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's both because we were both connected by the phone, and I think we were trying to we both had the talk on at the same time. Okay, so what have we added so far? We'll go ahead and save this information, and then we'll view the document here. So if we view the corrective action, there's what it looks like. And unlike in the past, if you wanted to view this in a different format, in the past you had to go to other documents and then publish it as a different style. So now if we go over here to the original NC, I can choose a different format. So if I want to see it in a 7D format and then go view the car, there it is. It's magically changed itself into a 7D. Or if you want to see it in an 8D, I'll change it over to an 8D, and then we can view it as an 8D with all of the new 8D sections in the document. So there's no longer any need to publish the document in separate formats. You can do it on the fly. And even in desktop, there's a new corrective action viewer that gives you the ability to view those documents and choose it on the fly under the view option in the menu. Okay, other changes that have taken place, I'm going to quickly exit out of desktop here. I'll have to close my notification window there as well. I'm going to close out of desktop, and I'm going to log in as the master user. Yes, we would like to save our changes there. With the master user account now, you now have the ability to be able to make some additional changes to documents, things that you didn't have in the past. Under the administration user, the master user account now can change the gatekeepers at any time. They can see who the gatekeepers are, and the master user can change the any of the gatekeepers at any point in time. Okay, so that's a nice change as well. You also have the ability to set some system preferences as well. By the way, the master user can also delegate from on any corrective action because they can also see all of the nonconformances at any point in time that are open. Okay, under the system preferences now, you have the ability to disable fast track, to disable deleting cars. We'd heard from folks in both the medical device, pharmaceutical, aerospace industry that they did not want to have the ability to delete a car so that they didn't run afoul of field inspectors from certain government agencies that do not like having cars deleted. They want to be able to see everything that's ever been done on any corrective action. So now you have that ability to eliminate that possibility of deleting cars. You can keep a very robust revision history now. In the past, when you saved a corrective action after you made some changes, it kept the current version only. So there was really no revision history. Now you can keep a revision history, so every time it's saved, it creates a new version of the document. And every time it saves it, it releases it as current. So the latest information is always available to everybody that has access to that document. You can set the default access to print for new nonconformances and preventive actions if you wish. Some people don't want to allow people to print the corrective actions for whatever reason. So you now have that ability to either leave it at the default of not providing print access or providing print access. It's your choice now. And whether or not you publish the recommended actions in the standard format, our standard format was a slightly modified 7D structure, and the 7D does not support having the recommended actions published. So we've given you that ability now. In the past, we just hid that particular section of the document when we would display it on the screen. And now you can determine whether or not you want that selection hidden or not on a default basis or on a document by document basis within the corrective action component. Same for paper signature section. We've had a number of requests for people that are required to actually put a hard copy signature on their corrective action when they submit them. And so you now can generate a paper signature section in the standard format if you wish. You've always had the opportunity to incorporate your logos on new nonconformances, corrective actions, and preventive actions. So that has continued over. We've also added an audit log. The audit log gives you the ability to record every change that is made to every nonconformance, and it states who made the change, what the change was, what the change or what the document said before, what it says now. So it truly is an audit log, very similar to the audit log that was incorporated into our training manager module a couple of years ago. Big step forward in that area as well. So a lot more system preferences are available now. I'll go ahead and cancel out of here. Another change to the document workspace here. In the past, the to-do list was the view that came up at first. You did have a My Documents and a history list available under the File menu, but by default now, the first time you go into corrective action, we will actually launch all 3 tabs. So you can go between the tabs and as you wish. If you don't find yourself using those particular options, we will remember what it is that you had opened the last time you went into it, and we will open those same modules or tabs that you had open when you were last in it. So it will remember you. As I mentioned, all of the open nonconformances can be seen by the master user. So you can see the master user can see everything that's open right now from every different role's perspective here. So a lot of open items here in this particular instance here. Okay, I'm going to shift over here to the desktop because there's a couple things that I want to show you in the desktop view here. In the desktop view, under the binders, we have now added the corrective action binders for everyone to see. In the past, you had to launch binders from the File menu in corrective action, which meant you had to have corrective action in order to launch the binders. That's no longer the case. We've now put in all of the binders and even added some into the desktop, and we have also added additional filtering rows. In the past, you just opened a binder and it gave you whatever it said it was. So if you wanted an open car, it would show you a list of all of the cars that are open, and there wasn't any additional filtering available. Well, now if we go into that binder, you'll notice that this is now a combination style binder where some of the items are selected and there's additional filtering rows here that will give you the ability to further refine your search. So if you just want to see all of the open corrective actions, then we apply the filter and there are all of the open corrective actions. If I want to sort them by a particular department, all right, so if I choose say, for example, manufacturing production here, and apply the filter, I've only got 2 in manufacturing production, so they're doing a pretty good job right now. If I want to choose for a different department, I can just change that to something else and then see the things that are appropriately indexed to them. Okay, anything left selectable, just like all of the other binders, is going to be skipped. But if you want to see all of your open corrective actions by a customer or by a supplier or by a part number or by a traceability field that you've entered, then you can see all of that information. So quite a bit of information in our traceability right now. Okay, so this is a big leap forward, and there's a lot more binders now than there were before. There's at least 2 or 3 more binders, which any improvement is a good improvement. So this is going to be very well received because now you don't have to have corrective action binder or corrective action to even open the binders. And there's a lot more functionality available within the binders themselves. And probably the last major change that I really wanted to touch on before we get into questions here is another new module that we also touched on in the webinar of, gosh, it's hard to believe it's almost a month ago, but the Suite reports, all of the reports, okay, the majority of the reports, only SPC has not been moved into Suite reports. So all of the corrective action reports have now been moved into the corrective or the Suite reports module. And so in the left-hand navigational tree here, you can see all of the modules. So we highlight corrective action reports. And then in the upper window of corrective navigational area here, we have the corrective action reports so that we can see and run reports. So if we want to see a corrective action summary report, it'll bring up all the parameters that we have to establish here. So in this case, there's nothing to select. It just brings up a report of all of the corrective action that has occurred. If we want to see it by most recent activity, we can. If we want to see it by the date that's found, if we want to do a detailed data export, all of the information contained within all of the items within corrective and preventive action are available, including the description. That's now been added as part of the export. And there's 7 new reports as well, nonconformance or cars by source, by customer, by department, by facility. Let's see what we're finding in here. So I can put in a start date, so I can use a date range if I want. I can either use a specific facility, or if I want to just click in the window and hit Control-A to select all, and then save my submission there, and we'll sort it by number in ascending order. And this is going to show me all of the non-conformances assigned to that facility. And there's several here. Okay, well, I did select all, so it's going to show all of them there. But there are at least 3 there, 4 for Miami. So it looks like others share your sentiments about wanting to be in Miami. Same for traceability. You can sort by all of the traceability items or a particular traceability item. So significant enhancements to the reports. When you're doing that detailed data export, that always was supported to export it to a comma separated value. So you can see the information that's available here. You now have more options as to the different file formats that you can export to. So you can see it can either be done to a PDF, to HTML, MHC, RTF, XLS, XLSX, a comma separated value as it could be in the past, a text file or an image file. So a lot more options there. Or if you want, you can even export it as to an email, and you have the option to put in some information here. And then if you make those selections, it will send the email to the recipient as an attachment. Okay, I'm out of breath. Do we have any questions that have come up, Carrie?
I had to take myself off mute as I start talking away. Let's see. Actually, this group is kind of quiet today. I wonder if everybody had a big lunch. So, yeah, really quiet today. I'm concerned. Hopefully everybody, I didn't get any messages that people said they couldn't hear or they couldn't see, so I hope that's not the case of what has gone on. But we did this pretty quick. So what I'd like to make sure that everybody is aware of is that, one, technical support, and myself. Not that you want me to tell you how to undo an error message. That would be bad for everyone involved. I know my limitations, but what I would like to make sure that everybody is aware of is that if the corrective action module is one that you've used for a long time, but you really would maybe like a little bit more personalized time with someone to just take you through the new aspects, please let us know. We try to do these in a big group forum so that we can touch as many people as want to know what's going on. But certainly if it doesn't 100% meet your need and what you need to feel comfortable using the software, then please let us know. We not only can spend a little bit of time personally with you in a go-to-meeting session like this, but we also have a lot of options for training. And some of the best options, especially if you've been an ongoing user of corrective action, but maybe want a little bit of just fill in the blanks type of fill in the gaps, I guess should be more fill in the gap type of training, is that we could schedule a 1 or 2 hour go-to-meeting session for just yourself. Go through the parts that maybe when you've been trained by the person who got trained by that person before them, who got trained by that person before them, we could schedule a couple of hours, take you through the product, talk specifically about your situations and what you deal with so that we can make sure that you're comfortable with it. And our go-to meeting or virtual training, if you will, are always held with a live trainer. So you've got somebody that you can interact with, which I really appreciate when I go to other places and they have that type of training also. And it's very cost efficient. So most of the time under $100. So very cost efficient to just get a little bit better comfort zone. So we've got a question here. For the related documents, do we have to have access to Document Manager or can anyone add related documents?
That's a good question, but it does not require a document manager, just like to add them in the quality planner component. When you bring it in as a supporting document, you do not have to have document manager on that particular workstation in order to register the document.
Great. Is there any change within the closure of the corrective action?
Is there any change within the closure of the corrective action? Not that I recall. If you're using it as a fast track, the difference between fast track, if you're fast tracking a nonconformance, it basically becomes a recording tool where the corrective action owner is recording all of the information. We've heard from customers that have when they submit supplier corrective actions, they'll fast track it because the work actually isn't being done inside of our component. It's being done at their supplier's location, and so they just send the information back by email or by fax or some combination therein. So if it's being fast tracked, then at the time that the actions are recorded, as far as what the actions were taken, at that point, it can be submitted for verification activities to the final approval authority. And after verification steps have taken place, then they can record that it has, they're ready to close it and just decide whether or not they want to submit it for ongoing long-term corrective action. If it is being handled as a regular corrective action, those same type of activities take place in addition to other phases that the document goes through. But the actual closure activities, when the actions taken have been recorded, at that point, the actions taken can be submitted to the final approval authority for their blessing or rejection. That can be returned to the corrective action owner for further action. If it is accepted as being sufficient and verified as effective, then the final approval authority can close the corrective action and decide whether or not it needs to be applied to other products and services. So I guess for a long-winded answer, no, that part hasn't changed, but it kind of made me wonder, based upon the question, if maybe there might be some question about how the closure activities take place.
No, I think we got the answer, but I've also just sent a quick note that says if they need more detail, we'll give them a quick call afterwards just to make sure we covered everything. So,
okay.
Now everybody's awake. I love it. So, let me make sure I get back to where we were as I hit my scroll button and I shouldn't have. Can the description field be formatted to allow paragraph format or bullets? Cutting and pasting to the description field reformats to one continuous paragraph.
Yeah, it does do that. It's a text box, so it's been difficult to change that text box to something else and still have it maintain the structure within the tool. It's something that we've talked about, but it's not something that's worked its way into the product yet.
So looks like we've got our first request and enhancement request.
Yeah.
And version 3.9.9. So that's great. Thank you. Let's see. I've got another one that came in. Can a nonconformance or CAR be exported in a fillable format outside of the Waypoint suite in order for a supplier to fill out their response? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, the only way that you can add lines in any of the text areas, so like in containment, in root cause, you can add lines or space a couple of different ways. Either you can put a period at the beginning of each row and hit your enter key. I guess if you want to see this here. So if I go into a nonconformance here, let's see, I'm in as the master though, I'm not in. I guess it doesn't matter if I'm in.
Okay. Hello, Brad. Can I interrupt? This is Dwight Funk. Actually, blank lines are honored now in those controls, so you should be able to put in as many blank lines as you need, no periods required. And I believe I would be surprised if the description field doesn't allow you to have paragraphs. I believe it should now. So if it doesn't, we'll get that fixed. So.
Okay, thanks, Dwight.
Alrighty. It appears that right at the moment, we'll hold out for just about another minute or so to see if anybody else asks any questions. But it looks like you might get 10 minutes back into your day. So that's always better than me taking 10 more minutes out of your day. So like I said, we try and stay within the allotted time that we schedule for these webinars. And once again, I just want to let all of you know, for those of you who have corrective action as part of your technical support, your annual technical support agreement that your company renews every year, the new enhancements, and actually all of the enhancements that have been made to version 3.9.9 are available to you. You just need to upgrade. And so if you've not taken advantage of getting upgraded to the latest version, I strongly recommend that you do that. Technical support is available to assist you if needed. I know there's a lot of customers that have been with us for quite a while and they probably know how to upgrade like the back of their hand, but if you've got new IT folks or outsourced IT consultants, please let us know. We're happy to assist you. And upgrading, typically, unless you're on a version that's 20 years old, which I don't think we have any of those with us today, but typically upgrading is a very smooth process. It's a very short process. It may be, I can't imagine that it would take any company more than an hour or 2 hours, I'm sorry. And we always leave time, but that's usually what we schedule when we do want just to make sure. So just want to let you know that please let us know if we can assist you with upgrading to the latest version. If you have any like I said, fill in the gap type of refresher training issues, or would like to have somebody spend a little bit of time with yourself or with some other users within your company, please let me know. We really want you to be able to use the software, and we want you to be able to use it to your full advantage to make your lives easier. So I am usually pretty creative when it comes to helping get our customers trained, and I certainly would like to help you and your company if it's needed. So technical support is always available also. You can call technical support at our toll-free number, 844-827-8254, extension 2. Correct, Brad? Did I get the right
Correct.
extension? I think I did. Yes, I did. And you can always email technical support at support@waypointglobal.com. Just to tell you a little bit about when you email us, it's not because we don't want to talk to you. It is mainly because that immediately takes us in. When that email comes in, it automatically goes directly into our technical support call tracking system. So it goes in there, you get a response that will tell you, hey, we got it. It's going to be assigned, and you'll hear from somebody shortly. And then it will get assigned to the appropriate person if it's something very specific. You know, sometimes we have people who are a little bit more up to speed on an area than others. And but also the next person that's going to be available. So sometimes emailing kind of gets it into the system a little bit quicker. Sometimes I know people really like to call Brad directly, but he's out on the road. He's involved in other calls with customers. And so sometimes making sure that you call or email technical support directly gets it into the system and the stream quicker. And certainly always give me a call. If I don't know the answer, hopefully you've known me long enough that I will track down the person that does. So we certainly appreciate all of your time today. We appreciate your business. We appreciate you putting your trust in us to continue to provide you with tools for your quality management systems, document control, whatever the case may be. And if there's an area in your company that you're just maybe it's a new opportunity or a challenge, let's use positive words, right? Let us know, because you never know. Maybe we've got something that could help you out with it, or maybe it is the idea for a new system, a new module, a new process within the suite. So we always like to hear from you. Please communicate with us your needs, and we will do our best to meet them. So we appreciate the opportunity to serve you, and thanks again for your time today. We're going to go ahead and wrap up, and thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon. And again, the recording will be processed, and we'll make sure that everybody gets a copy of it along with the questions asked, along with their answers. So thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.